Howdy, my dudes. Random Fight Fan here. Got another fixing my build for you guys. This one's probably going to be my last Deadeye because I've done a bunch of Deadeyes. I got videos showing how to make a Deadeye. And you guys, right now, you have all the information you need, but obviously, I'm not seeing too many issues with people with gear. They're getting great gear. They know how to put these things together. For the most part, everything seems to be right up to snuff. Like, you guys know what you're looking for. Don't need to really talk about there. You're recognizing the importance of having mana flasks. There might still be a few small issues, like for example on your time lost jewel, this one here has lightning pen and attack speed, which unfortunately don't really do anything for the build, but having that increased effect of notables is incredibly good, and having a decent boost of evasion rating is always going to be nice. But in this situation, with having a smaller radius, you're only going to get 15% increased evasion rating, which is the same as one small notable. Whereas if you had this paired with like a large one, you'd get 10 nodes or 11 nodes to use, which is basically a major node, or uh, two small notables, I guess you could think about it as well. But there's just a lot of better things you could do for your jewels than getting something like Lightning Pen when you're already completely ignoring elemental resistance with Beacon of Aziz. And attack speed really doesn't do much because we're all based around one hits here. This particular build has the From Nothing Diamond with Dance with Death, which is quite powerful. Not as integral as I had hoped it would be, but it does save you a lot of points pathing just to get basically 20% decreased damage with spears and a bunch of attack speed. But again, the attack speed, we've already learned that it doesn't really do anything for us once you get to a certain point. As long as it's having a decent baseline, you're fine. But this here is looking pretty good. The only thing weird about this tree is like one weird little pathing node here. Instead of coming up for all your crit damage stuff, but that's just because you're only level 89 right now. You'll get there. But yeah, take off that one random attribute node. The other thing is, you kind of did my mistake as well when you padded up here for these three attributes. If you don't need the attributes anymore, that's entirely dependent on you. It's going to be different for every person, but if you don't need those attributes, you can come and just get like 24% increased elemental damage, which is always nice, but not essential. With your skills here, you got everything set up pretty well, except for one glaring issue. Unfortunately, you got Rage Forged on your Infernal Cry. That is going to do absolutely nothing for you. Rage Forged will just, soak up your rage without actually adding any damage, because Rage Forged itself here, this here adds damage to the skill it's being used, and Infernal Cry doesn't do damage, so you're just losing rage if that really does anything. You have a decent little setup for your spear stab. Here it is. With lightning infusion, electrocute, and a little overload, and rage is great. I'd say toss on Martial Temple on there for sure. And then finally, you got Combat Frenzy with Perfusion, which is normally good, except for in this situation here, he's working with a controller, so it's absolutely not necessary whatsoever. Something like Ghost Dance would be better, or even having like Herald of Ice or anything else that you want, really. But the main thing that we can analyze here is the gameplay. So first things first, when we're going through this, you can see that there's going to be mistakes. You can see the boss is still alive, which is a problem, and we'll analyze exactly why. He's also spamming some lightning spears, which you'd be better off just using some storm lances, but I'll go over exactly what went wrong here. So he's starting with an Infernal Cry before the boss spawns, and I know it shows that you have a buff, but that's giving a buff with no enemy power around because it wasn't targetable yet, so you get 0 damage bonus from that. And then he does it again, which gives you the damage bonus and, fixes the issue. But as you'll see right here, he throws the Storm Lance, which is good. But then right here, he no longer has a buff. He never used Wind Serpent's Fury. The reason for that is because he went to use Spear Stab to try and get more rage stacks. So he essentially lost like 80% of his damage to try and get, 3% more? It's going to completely destroy you that way. And as you could saw as well, by the time he's trying to, he's got his 16 rage stacks from one Raging Cry. The second one would bring it up to 22 because they would consume the rage stacks first and then add more. to pump up the damage uh, on your Wind Serpent's Fury here, but his rage is already dropping, and that's because he started with Infernal Cry before he was ready to do Wind Serpent's Fury. You need to drop Infernal Cry basically immediately before Wind Serpent's Fury, otherwise your rage is going to drop off right away. You got like a second or two, and then it falls off, so it's pretty tight on the timing, unfortunately. But yeah, after that, you saw he had semi-decent damage, but the issue was he just completely messed up the rotation, and if you tighten that up, you'll be fixed, and you won't have much of an issue here. With his mapping, there's not really much to talk about here. It's smooth lightning spear mapping. It's just you don't need combat frenzy because your sniper's mark will keep it up and keep it going the whole time, because as you can tell, you're getting multiple casts of cast on critical every time you throw a single lightning spear with no bonuses to energy generation or anything of the like. It's incredibly consistent. Every single throw of your spear will give you a sniper's mark, and because you're using controller, it will actually target a mob that isn't hit yet, and then one of your split spears will come and smack it. And as long as you're critting, which you should with your gear and equipment and everything, then yeah, you'll have very consistent uptime. You're sticking at 4 stacks of oh, there we go, finally went up to 5. But you were sticking pretty consistently high on your frenzy charges this whole time. I'm surprised you're not getting many procs. You got 7 right there, but like it should be a little bit more consistent. Maybe it's just a weird spot in the video. But either way, you're going to have really good uptime on your Sniper's Mark, cast on critical, frenzy charges. So you don't need combat frenzy at all. Just boost your power otherwise. But yeah, this was a pretty quick one. There really isn't too much to talk about anymore with Huntresses. I think it went over a little bit everything. If there's any other questions that people have for, sorry, not Huntresses, Deadeyes. If there's other questions for Deadeyes regarding that way, I really highly recommend going through the other Fixing My Builds, because they will almost certainly be answering the questions that you have for that. I've been really happy with seeing everybody's understanding of the gear and how it goes together and putting together a good tree. These are pretty solid right now. I'm happy with that. But anyways, that is everything I have for today. Thanks again for stopping by. See you later, my dudes.